So the book that I picked is... Hi and welcome to a new video. So one of my reading goals for 2026 is to focus more on reading books from my physical TBR. And I thought to make things a little bit more fun for myself is to use some TBR prompts to choose the books from my physical TBR. In this video, I'm also going to be reading the books that we do end up choosing. So let's go ahead and choose the first TBR prompt. I put some basic prompts in here, so nothing super special. Okay, so the first prompt that I've chosen is... I guess I should flip the camera so you guys can see. So the first prompt are lesser known fantasy books. Before I go to my bookshelves and see what book I want to pick based on this prompt, let's choose another prompt and then we'll pick two books to start off with. Okay, so the next prompt is... So the next prompt I got is Korean fiction books. So I'm gonna go to my bookshelves right now and pick the books based on these prompts, and I'll come back to talk about what books I've chosen. Okay, I'm back with the books. So for the lesser known fantasy book, I decided to choose Break White the Sea by Sarah Holland. I have not heard pretty much anybody talk about this book, but what drew me towards picking up this one is that there is a love curse. Our main character, Annie, she is the heir to a whaling company, but she has this curse, and when the curse grows, she eventually will transform into a monster. I believe the curse has to do with love. Our main character also has a fiance, but she discovers that maybe he is trying to take over her family's company. So she makes a deal with a captain, a young captain, who is rumored to be half Finfolk, and he claims that he can help her to break the curse. But she has to promise to stop the whaling practice forever. So this sounds very interesting and I am very curious to read this. And then for the Korean fiction prompt, I decided on Almond by Won Pyong-sun. I've seen this book around. I'm not sure what this is about. It says here, Yoon-jae was born with a brain condition called Alexim. I'll just put it here. And that condition makes it hard for him to feel emotions. He doesn't have friends, but his devoted mother and grandmother provide him with a safe and contented life. But everything changes when a shocking act of random violence shatters his world, leaving him alone and on his own. So this is like a literary fiction book. It's a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but I've heard good things, so I want to give this book a try. So I'm gonna start reading these books tomorrow, and then I'll come back to give you guys my first thoughts once I'm deeper into these books. I have now read up to page 110 in Break White the Sea, so let's discuss my thoughts on this book. Our main female character, Annie, she is the heir to this whaling company,
And basically, what they do is they hunt whales, they kill them for their meat, oil, blood, and all of these things have like magic properties. And in this world, there are also these creatures called the finfolk. Annie's family, many generations back, have been cursed by the finfolk, and the curse is mostly dormant. It only triggers when you get heartbreak. And when the curse triggers, you kind of slowly start to turn into a flesh eating monster. Annie's curse kind of start during the time when her parents died. So she has been living with the curse for a couple of years now and they were controlled. However, recently it's starting to advance, and that is because she suspects that her fiance, August, might be plotting to betray her and take over her family's whaling company. And then there's another character. His name is Silas. He is the captain for one of the ships that belong to Annie's whaling company. According to Annie, Annie and Silas don't like each other. However, Silas comes to Annie and tells her that he may have a way to break her curse. However, she has to promise to stop whaling forever. I'm quite interested in the story. It's definitely an easy read. You could binge this in a day. It's quite short. It's only 300 like 20 pages, and then it's a smaller size book. The writing is also like the number of words on the pages are also not a lot. So I could potentially finish this today. Also, there isn't a huge like world building and the story doesn't really need it. You just kind of hone into the characters and the mystery surrounding them, surrounding the curse and her parents' death. And where I'm at the story right now, they haven't started on the adventure quest to find the cure. So I am very excited to dive right back in. And then I will come back to give you guys my next update.
I am getting ready to go to work, but I thought we could do a quick update on my reading so far. I have finished reading Bright White the Sea 2 days ago. I don't really have a lot of notes on this book. I think overall I enjoyed it, but it wasn't exactly like 5-star book. It was decent enough to pass the time. I think I would recommend this book if you want like a shorter fantasy read and with some adventure, but the adventure doesn't really start to like page 100 because before that you get like the setup and just getting to know the characters. But there's not like a huge like complex world building. There's not like some intricate magic system, so it's very easy to get into the story and very easy to read it. Also, I thought this was a standalone, but it's gonna be a series, and I'm definitely curious and interested to continue with the series. have been slowly making my way through Almond. I am now at page 91. In this book, we follow a boy. His name is Yoonjae, and he has a brain condition. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the name. I'll just put it here. Essentially, it means that he is lacking the part in his brain where he can feel emotions. So he cannot feel like anger, sadness, happiness. And because he cannot feel his own emotions, he cannot understand other people's emotions as well. Even though he's lacking in this part of his life, his grandmother and mother are very devoted to helping him. His mother especially tries to teach him how to interact with others to the best of her knowledge. She tries her hardest to prepare him for the future. However, a tragic event happens and now Yoonjae is left alone. Where I stopped reading, he is just starting high school, so entering his adolescence years. And from the summary, it looks like he is going to form a bond with another teenager. I find this book to be very easy to read. Every chapter is like just a couple of pages, 2 to 3 pages. I am enjoying reading this, but at the same time, it feels very melancholy. I am rooting for Yoonjae, but at the same time, I'm very worried for him. This is like both a light and heavy read at the same time. Because today is Saturday, I think I will be able to read a lot more tonight and tomorrow as well. Since I'm recording right now, I thought I could use this time to also pick my next read. So if you remember at the beginning of this video, there were only white papers in the jar. So the green and blue papers are for my Read It and Unhaul It challenge, which I'm gonna film that video in the future. Okay, so let's pick a TBR prompt. Okay, so the book that I picked is dystopian. I know the perfect book to pick for this prom. It's also one of the 26 books that I want to read in 2026. So that book is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. So again, even though I always read book summaries, I never remember what the book is about. So all I know about this book is that it's a dystopian romance. There's definitely a lot of controversial and even negative reviews on this book, but I wanna keep an open mind and try it out for myself and for my own opinion. I'm actually feeling quite excited and cannot wait to start this book after I finish Almond. I just finished reading Almond. At my last update, I mentioned that the main character Yoonjae, he is starting high school. Even though he's dealing with not being able to have a lot of emotions, entering into high school is a whole different playground, it's a whole different environment. And so he is starting to develop some friendships and relationships with other people. And then subconsciously, he is slowly changing. And I just enjoy following Yoonjae's journey. Overall, I enjoyed my reading experience, and it's definitely making me want to pick up more fiction books, especially translated fiction. I am glad to have finally read Alma. Is definitely a book that appeals more to my emotional side. So the last book that I'm gonna be reading in this video is Silver Elite. I'm expecting this to be more of a fun book. Maybe we'll get some cliche romance, but that's okay. because I am ready for it and I cannot wait to start reading. Hey guys, I finished reading Silver Elite this morning, so let's talk about that book. In Silver Elite, we are set in a dystopian world. Our characters are living in the part of the world that is currently governed by like a military power, and these people are called primes. There are other people living in other parts of the world that are not under this government, but we don't really know too much about them yet. Our main character Ren, she is a mode, which basically means modified humans. So modes have psychic abilities. Some of them can read minds, some of them can communicate telepathically, and some of them have healing abilities. And it is illegal to be a mode, so if you are captured, you either be executed or made into a slave. So Ren and the other mods are living as a normal citizen but hiding the fact that they are mods. Anyway, some things happened and then Ren was captured by the Primes and being forced to join the Silver Block training program, which is sort of an elite training program for the Primes. The male main character Cross is the commander of this elite training group. So for most of the story, we're following Ren as she tries to navigate through this training program, and later on there is also some development with the Uprising group. I will say that I did need a bit of time to get used to the writing in this book because the two prior books that I finished, Almond was more of a fiction, emotional read, and then Break White the Sea has more of like a fantastical setting and like a darker tone. At the start of Silver Elite, I did feel a little bit like it was shoved in my face that Ren was special and not like other girls. But as I kept reading, I started to get more entertained, and after that, it was quite a fast read. This book did remind me a lot of Fourth Wing, so I think if you enjoy Fourth Wing, you might like this book. The romance and tension between our two main characters is definitely more lustful attraction. I don't want to spoil too much, but there are definitely some scenes between our two main characters that you might gloss over because you're reading it in a book and because the characters are hot, but in real life, they are a huge red flag. And then I did like our female main character, Ren, but towards the end, she was starting to annoy me a little bit just because she was making very questionable and impulsive decisions. Overall, I was entertained by this book, but I can definitely see why some people really enjoyed it and why some people did not like this book. For me personally, I am a little bit curious about continuing the series, but we'll see. This brings us to the end of this reading vlog. Using the TBR prompts to choose my reads gave me that little bit of dopamine boost, so I had such a fun experience with this reading vlog. I hope you guys also enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give a like and subscribe, and there will be more reading vlogs coming out soon, so stay tuned and I will see you guys next time.